Okay, Nina. So, what do you want to talk about, girl?
Really? We already had this conversation.
Yeah, we did, but I like, I like. Well, first of all, I think I told you. Part of the reason why I like doing these is because it gives me an opportunity to, excuse me, make sure people understand. Like because I've always been a different thinker, or at least outwardly, in that I'm very sensitive. I'm emotional. I'm very caring. I'm very like just authentically like that. Um, and not everybody. That's not everybody's jam, and that's okay. Once again, like it doesn't have to root everybody's beer. That's cool. But it's also what I ended up doing for a while is I ended up changing that about myself, or I don't want to say changing fully because I wasn't. I think I just wasn't as much me. If that makes any sense. I just because, excuse me, I was worried like how people would take it and this and what's very nice about having left that job and the kind of really the way it happened was really good because it made me question, why am I giving away a lot of my power and a lot of my self-respect and a lot of the stuff I actually really like about myself, which is kind of funny because it's also some of the stuff I beat myself up for, which is, once again, I love the human mind. It's so much fun. But that's why, when I met you, even though you weren't, I just connected with you, and what I like about having this opportunity is it gives me a platform to literally in a vehicle to be able to reach out to people who have impacted me, so I can say thank you, and I can say that I appreciated that, even though we connected on so many different things, even though you didn't have to necessarily sit down and draw a diagram of your life and this and that and the other thing. It was like we said, as I said yesterday or whatever, how much ever you wanted to share with me, I felt honored with whatever that was, and whatever you wanted, whatever it was, and how much ever it was. I just felt grateful because I could tell that wasn't necessarily your comfort zone.
I don't really open up that easy.
Correct. But to me, you did. And so, but I was aware that I don't think that was your normal. And so that's why I was like, that's why I felt honored. And that's why I wanted to make sure you knew I appreciated you, because like I said, I think even before I knew that wasn't necessarily your natural go-to, apparently I shouldn't breathe granola. That was bad. Is that I kind of recognized that you took a leap of faith to entrust me with that part of you. And so I'm pretty confident I've never abused that. So I wanted to tell you that that's one of the things I was very grateful for. Yes, you're always nice to me, and even when you're sassy, you're nice to me. And you apologize when you say you're being sassy, but I'm like, really, I've been laughing for the last hour. You and Elaine, it's just really, I'm like, dude, you two are funny. And then poor Fuad, yeah, he was just like, oh. And then you throw Stephanie in there, and partially German. I couldn't even understand some of the stuff. And then she curses. She's German, but curses in Spanish. And I was like, I love her. I don't even understand what's going on.
We're an interesting group of people.
Yes, but that's what I like, because I relate more with layered people than, oh, everything's great and I'm wonderful and this and this and this, and you're sitting there thinking,
It's when people say they're living the normal.
that
That's people that I don't really care for. Because they're living a fake life. They're technically acting like they're so happy, but in reality, they're actually not. Probably, like, for instance, people that are supposedly happily married only on social media.
yes,
But realistically, they just got a divorce like a week ago.
yeah,
It's more of, like you said, a people thing. So a while ago when I got disowned from my family for being gay. It was more of a reputation. Arabic people care more about their reputation than others, than their own really family members.
Yeah.
And that's what the normal is reputation. Because hey, an Arabic girl can't be a lesbian because that's so against our culture. But I thought to myself, do I want to make my family happy and be miserable my whole life, or do I want to be happy and say fuck it? If I lose my family, I lose my family. But at the end of the day, I'm my mom's only daughter, so she'll eventually come back, and she did, under sad circumstances of my brother passing. But yes, I have to be selfish. People cannot, and here's the thing that bothers me the most, and it used to bother me a lot. And I mean, like, I'd get so pissed off to the point where, like, I used to have anger issues, really, really bad anger issues. And go back to when I was a child, I was beat most of my life. My dad was very abusive, and I would have to go to school with bruises. And it's like summer, 90 some degrees outside, and I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt and a baggy long sleeve shirt and baggy jeans. And I was so numb to all of that, to the point where I became numb throughout my whole life. And I forgot where I was going with this, but I was so sick of people always questioning who you are. And yesterday was the first time that I had gotten pissed over it. And I didn't tell anybody about this because it stopped bothering me. And it was people questioning whether I was a man or a woman because they're fucking nosy. Excuse my language. But all of my life I've been questioned. Like, I work at Lifetime. I work in the locker room. It's a woman's locker room. Arabic ladies walk in and ask, is that a man or a woman? I'm in the woman's locker room. And it's the fact that everywhere I used to go when I chopped off my hair, and I'm Arabic. Nobody knows I look as the whitest person in the world. I look completely white. And nobody would assume that I'd understand. So they say it in Arabic. I used to get fired up because of it. I would get so pissed off to the point where I just blow up instantly. And yesterday, and I haven't blown up in a really long time. And yesterday I went to get barbecue wings for my family. And the guy in Arabic goes, and he's staring at me, listening to the other guy asking him if I was a man or a woman in Arabic. And I said, can you tell him it doesn't fucking concern him? I go, I'm a woman. I go, and I'm Arabic. And I said it in Arabic. And I was like, it doesn't concern you what I am. I'm here as a customer buying stuff from you. And you're questioning whether it never bothered me. I was so used to it, but it's just annoying. And I didn't blow up because I work out now. So, so, but it bothered me again. And usually I gave it up. I didn't care. But for to go back again, my mom only gave a shit about what other people thought. So when they'd come up to her and be like, why does your daughter have short hair, or mistaking me for one of my brothers, it would bother her.
Like it was a representation of her parenting, that she has a gay daughter or
exactly.
something. It's like, yeah, but and for sure, like I didn't even know culturally, but I could have even imagined culturally. Which is interesting because from my limited knowledge of the Arabic culture, women in general just aren't as important.
Yeah.
And so then you're like, well, then why does it bother you so much?
Exactly. Leave me be. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
And it's like, why question it? Why care? Why go out of your way to ask that question? I mean, hello, I have a chest. Look. That's the only time you're ever able to look. So look and say that I'm a woman. It's not like I was wearing like an extremely baggy shirt. I was wearing tight joggers. It was so stupid. It made me so mad. But yeah.
Now, do you think maybe part of it is that
they're not used to it?
Well, yeah, but I think part of it too might have been, I think the reason you got so hot is because, like you said, they say it in Arabic too. So now they're not only discounting you as a woman, they're discounting you because as an Arab. So now they're like,
about that. That usually doesn't bother me. Okay. But I get them back by saying in Arabic. Then they're like, oh my gosh, you're Arabic? I didn't know. And then they'll try to be nice and I'll just walk away at that point.
Yeah, because you're like, no, you lost that chance.
Yeah, at that point you're just stupid and you look like a fool.
Yeah.
I hate
you. And once again, I think that's something I've never struggled with, never had to go through, never had to even really think about. Now, having said that, the closest I can relate to is even now when people will call sometimes, especially when I lived at home, people would call and they'd say, "Oh, Pam," because I do not have a masculine voice. I'm aware of this. And I'd be like, "No, it's her son." Like I would get hot.
Yeah.
And then, whereas it's kind of like, why do I care what anybody's opinion about me is, especially somebody I may never meet or might not even care to be friends with in the first place.
Exactly. It's these people
And
once in your life.
yeah, and I think, and some days, like you said, you were kind of not weirded out, but you were like kind of shocked, like, whoa, it got to me yesterday after a while. And I think sometimes it's just, if it's the occasional weird out of the ordinary. Like when it becomes like a normal thing that you have to like fight against, you're kind of like, no, I'm prepped for it. Like, we're good, let's go. But it's when it's all of a sudden like super rando, you're going, wait, kind of like when I was telling you about the accident, you're trying to figure out, is this really happening right now?
Yeah.
Are these two jamokes like really trashing me in front of me,
And
pretending like thinking I can't understand them?
Like, that's disrespectful, and I hate people that are disrespectful. I hate that. It bothers me.
Because like courtesy and manners cost nothing.
Oh, Arabs don't have any of those.
Well, I did a lot of team building stuff in Dearborn Heights, and it was interesting when we would go to the middle school because most of the teachers were women,
Mm-hmm.
but most of the boys didn't respect any girls at all.
Because of the way they were raised.
And I was like, and I'll be honest, I felt uncomfortable. Now, I wasn't in charge of going there or everything like that, but I remember like afterward I would talk about it saying, we're trying to do team building, like literal team building. It's okay if like they're not touching or whatever like that. You know, I worked with Orthodox Jewish population where they weren't allowed to touch and stuff too. That's very similar, but once again, that's Middle Eastern. Like, oh yeah, she's here. And I'm like, oh, she's part of your group. Like, that's not a she's here, you know? And like, I didn't have issues because I'm a male. And so they would listen to me, but I'd watch my other, counselors and stuff trying to work with them. And it was just bizarro to me.
Male authority, that's how it is. That he's the man of the house, so he's the man of everything else.
And to me, I grew up, my dad made lots of money, but my dad it was pretty simple. You walk home and it was, hey, Dad, where's Mom? So it was always like, yeah, I'm going to ask Mom. Like both my kids know right away, we're going to ask you because you're the only person here. But if Mom overrides you, we know who we're listening to. And I'm like, dude, yeah, because so will I. Because I'm terrified. Like, I know who runs the place. It's cool. But I think that's, like you said, that's a respect thing. And I don't know, it's the same with being racist. That blows my mind. Like where I grew up for the first 11 years in Three Rivers by Kalamazoo, it was snow. We had a town of 5,000 and we had 2 black families. We were friends with one of the families. The other ones, I don't think had kids or they were like already older or something like that. That's like my brother and the second and youngest sons are still really good friends to this day. Like, what is that? 40 years later, 45 years later. And it was just, I mean, like literally he came in, I was like, hey, you're black. And he's like, yeah, and you're young. And I was like, all right, well played. I was a little kid and I went, all right. And I remember like the big deal because when the older one got his mustache, it was super curly. And I remember just going, wow, black people's mustaches are cool. And he's like, they are, and then he had explained it to me. But as kids, once I asked the questions, it was never like, oh, hey, there's a black person, or hey, you know what I mean? Or hey, and we also were around Amish people, which of course that was even more interesting only because like we weren't really allowed to talk to them. We definitely couldn't take pictures of them, you know, like stuff like that. But growing up, I don't see different. I really don't. Like I like, I don't want to say, but I guess I like the exceptions to the rule because the rule is, to me, seems fake. And, you know, that's why I liked you, because you were very authentic with defenses like we all have. I know that, and that's okay. I'm not trying to, like, I'm literally not trying to bring down your defenses. I'm just very grateful that you, for whatever reason, trusted me just to be like, yeah, this person's all right.
And I don't trust a lot. I don't trust a lot of guys.
Which, once again, I didn't know because
I don't feel comfortable, if that makes sense. I felt
Yeah.
comfortable with you right away, not just because a friend told me you were cool, but like I could read people. I know good and I know bad, so I knew you were automatically good. I don't just hug anybody.
which is once again, like, it's funny to me because I'm sitting there going, like, it took me a minute to realize, wait, she doesn't necessarily do that to everybody. Because I was just like, yeah, it was just natural for you and I to be like, yeah, and your hugs, I was like, oh, this is glorious.
Yeah, like even when we did the open, I was more comfortable in the corner with you than have anybody else like be around me or coaching me or helping me out. So yeah.
So like I said, I'm very grateful, and that's kind of what one of the ways I'm using this platform is to make sure people know, because a lot of times I think we get busy, and then, you know, what I'm grateful for, and I don't say I like about, because this freaking people are really sick and dying, and like people are losing jobs, and it's bad, but the blessings I'm taking out of it, it's that I'm getting back to the stuff that makes me like me, which is reaching out to my friends and taking that moment to say, you know, you are valuable. You made an impact on me in a great way, and thank you. As opposed to just, oh yeah, we're cool, because that's easy. You know, it's easy to. It was easy for me to hang out with my friends because I was at the gym and everybody came to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I left the gym, I was like, well, this is not acceptable. So I need to see my friends. And so when we had that party and people came and stuff, that's when I decided, yeah, I need to make an effort. And I reached out and I, you know, created the book club with some good people, and, you know, because I can't wait for someone to come save me. And I can't wait for someone to make me happy, because then if that person who makes me happy, this part might relate to you, FYI. If I'm waiting for that person to make me happy and then something happens, they go, or it's not going to work out, well, then my happiness goes. And then if it becomes, I'm not judging. I'm just.
No, I know. I'm not the only person, and I tell this to everybody, and this is from losing somebody. Mom always reminds me of this. You're only taking to the grave yourself. So the only person that matters in this world is yourself. At the end of the day, I'm not going to call you up to make me happy, because you'll make me happy for 10 seconds or half an hour or whatever. But then again, I'm back in my room by myself. So I have to make myself happy.
Correct.
And I tell everybody this, like, you are your only person that matters in this world. Yes, your kids are when they are young, but then they move on and they got to take care of themselves. So, Jeff,
but
make you happy before you can let anybody else make you happy.
Correct. And that's one thing that I hadn't done. I was changing my beliefs to match my actions, because I was trying to make everybody else happy. And then I tried to make me happy. And I'm like, no, because my natural state is a byproduct of making myself happy. So the reason I'm not a crab and not a doucher and all that stuff is because I had the discipline to get up early and then do what I was supposed to do, and then, you know, listen to Donna, even if it wasn't something that made me happy, probably because I did something wrong, or, you know, like I got yelled at because I wasn't being a good dad. I was on my phone programming, and so I just got we just got in a conflict because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. And so I had to bite the bullet and say, yep, you're right. I was not doing the right thing. And then I had to explain to Alice and say, yep, I'm not doing I let you down because I wasn't doing the right thing either. So when I'm available and when I'm doing well with myself, that stuff comes easier than, and I don't ever say it's never effortless, because it's never effortless to try to be better. It's never effortless to be positive or be, optimistic, because my immediate initial response to most situations that don't go my way is not optimism. I don't do when people say, oh, it's an opportunity, not a problem. That is not my natural. My natural is everything's ruined. Why did I even try? and one of the things I've discovered about me is I work out more now that I don't set the clock for a workout. Because when I do set the clock and do it 3, 2, 1, go, I don't get excited and focused and lasered in. Like I remember when you were talking, you liked that. You were like, yeah, let's like right before a game and the whistle, and you're like, yeah. Oh man, I'm trying not to poop myself. And then I think about 4,000 reasons why I hate this, what I'm about to do. And then now I lose track that the process is actually the fun part. And oh no, it's not. How long are we going? Oh, I only have 19 more minutes of a 20-minute workout. I hate CrossFit. I hate it. And you know what I mean? It's like, but sometimes it's what's really hard is that it's instead of just trying to, the reason why I was overwhelmed when I first realized that I had to only make myself happy is because that's all the real stuff, the sensitive, the tough, the not comfortable, the embarrassing, the humbling, the all that stuff. But once I delved into it and was basically like, yep, I journaled it, and I was like, okay, kicking it with God. And I was like, okay, so, a lot of like David Goggins and Jocko Willink and all these people, they do, like any military people do after action report, which is when we do anything, right? We write down, okay, how did it go? What went well? What didn't go well? What can we change? Well, when I approached stuff like that, it didn't have as much power or fear over me and stuff, because I was like, yeah, why did this destroy me? Why did this destroy my self-esteem? And why did people's opinions, which still they never even told me directly, why, like the hearsay of people's opinions, why would that destroy me? And it was because I had not been disciplined on a daily basis of taking care of myself and my needs. And I know it sounds selfish, but yes, it has to be. That's how I was able to stay sober for 29 years, is because I couldn't rely on my mom wanting me not to use, or Billy, or, it's just like you get a sponsor not because they're going to keep you sober, but they can give you maybe that moment before you then relapse. Or, it's like the reason why you have friends is because hopefully I'm going to say an idea and they're all going to go, wow, no. And I'm going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's dumb. You know what I mean? So but they still ultimately not making my decisions. We're making our own decisions. And so I love what you said, because that's 100% why for almost 3 straight weeks I was depressed. And because the thought was so overwhelming to look at myself again, because I felt like I had to do it all at one time. And then I remembered something I used to tell people when they'd have a workout with 100 double unders. You can't do 100 under. You can't. It's impossible. You can do 1 double under at a time. You can do triple unders, and some people can do quadruple unders, but I don't think they can do 25 quadruple unders, and I don't know how I'd count that. So, you know what I mean? Most people, for double unders, you had to do 100 double unders, but it was 1 at a time. So if you do 1, you're closer than you were before you did 1. And I was like, oh yeah. And that's also controllable, right? Like I can do a little thing. Like, because I care about you, when you said, yeah, I don't really have weights, I was like, hey, I have some weights you might want. I mean, they're really weird, and I hope you don't get attached to the colors because it'll mess you up. And you're like, sure. I'm like, okay. because I've been practicing being unselfish and how I can help people. I was more attuned to when you said, "Oh, I wish I had more weight." But if I hadn't been doing that and been being unselfish, something as simple as you saying, I need more weight, I would have been like, yeah.
Good
You
luck
know,
finding them.
and so, or then later on realizing, wait, I have those weights I don't even use. Because that goes against completely what I stand for with myself. Like like you said, when I'm by myself, when I'm putting my socks on naked or with my underwear on or whatever, when I'm alone, what do I think about myself? Because that's what's going to matter. Because that's what I think about myself is how I'm going to act towards myself is how I act towards other people. It just is. Because you get these people who put on these.
Actually, no, you could be your own worst enemy, but be the nicest person to me.
Yes, but at some
Or
point it's
don't be
not.
a people pleaser.
But that's what I'm saying. At some point it's going to be not good. It's going to, the cracks will come through. And so I know that when I'm authentic, I'm my favorite me. And so that's why I'm going to do things that are authentic, even if it's a little uncomfortable. Like you said, I want to be good at CrossFit. Part of that, which is not comfortable, is the humbling to grab a PVC for 20 some minutes and have me coach you on just bringing your elbows up and being like,
That was brutal.
it is brutal. And you're thinking, man, I hope this goes somewhere because this is just brutal. But it does. It's the discipline of doing one thing constantly is going to make you better in the long run. It's inevitable. It's kind of like if I want to walk down the street and I take one step a day, yeah, it's probably going to take me a while, but I'll get to the end of the street. And then at some point you're going to realize, why do I keep stopping after a step? I'm just going to go to the end of the street.
Takes you a whole year.
But so that's what I'm saying. Like, because of your journey and you having the different things affect you, you latched onto that quicker than I did. Um, and I still don't know if maybe that's what I connected to, or I don't know why we connected immediately, but I was like, that's awesome.
We're both cool people.
Well, duh. So,
And we're like the same person, except I'm a hard ass. I'm a stubborn hard ass.
I'm pretty stubborn, but it just comes through different. You're assertively stubborn, and I'm passive aggressively stubborn. You're more aggressive. I'm more passively aggressive. But that's part of the reason why I like you and A-Train, because I'm like, yes, I'm gonna, because I can be the softer part, and you guys can be the more direct route, and I like that though. But once again, you don't need to choose to be with people who make you better, but you do, and I do too. And I think everybody who I've interviewed is that personality trait is that they know surrounding themselves with better people or good people will help them be better. Not because those people change them, but it's because it's kind of like a monitor or like a goal, or it's like, oh, okay, cool. I want that. I can do that. I'm going to be like that. It's the same, reason why I watch CrossFit movies and stuff like that still, even though I know I'm never going to be like that. Like, I love that stuff. And I get super pumped. I just watch fitness. I'm like, that's when I started doing cleans again. I'm like, I'm doing cleans. And
you could do them.
Yeah, I can. I like that. But yeah, so I mean, I think when I interviewed pretty much everybody I interviewed had an interesting path. Because like for me, my path wasn't externally tough. It was especially growing up, it wasn't externally tough really at all. I didn't realize that my dad's dad had beat him to the point where he was in the hospital with brain bleeding and swelling. And my dad never laid a hand on me. But
Wow, lucky you.
He was a super screamy, but he was never there. So it wasn't until I was a dad I realized the reason he was hiding and not there was because he refused to hit me, because he wanted to love me better than his dad loved him. And I was like, oh my God, that is so amazing. Right. So all these, like, I wish he would have been this way, or more loving and more hugging, and like, stuff I told you about meant nothing, because I was like, he loved me better than his dad loved him. And I was like, holy crap, I have got to get on my game, like, to be a better dad. And but that's, to me, I think that's why I surround myself with people like you and people who I've been interviewing. And that's why I want people to get to know that, because I think most humans have a misguided idea of what together is, or what doing well looks like, or success. And so now a lot of people are like, oh, unless you're financially successful, you're not successful. Well, how many financially successful people beat their kids, cheat on their spouses, become alcoholics and addicts and lose everything? You know what I mean? That's huge. Um, and since I don't want to do that, I refuse to be that person. I think it's important that people understand everybody comes to the same point from different pathways. They really do. And we're all, like, I'm grateful that I get to be part of your journey at this point. And so I don't know how long our journey is going to be together. Like, you might move, we might work together in the spring or the fall / whatever, New Year, whatever. Whenever that takes place, we might work together then. But who knows? Like, I don't know. I'm flying out May 8th. The plane doesn't always land right. So, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, who knows, weird stuff happen. Then I'm driving back, so something could happen. We're not promised anything. And
Yeah.
I'm aware that everything we have is temporary. And so I try to do the best I can with what I get when I get it. And one of the things, I think you do that. That's another reason why I was like, I like you.
Oh, 100%.
And,
You have to live as if tomorrow's your last day. That's why I don't like having enemies. I really don't give a shit about them, but I just don't like people disliking me, because if I die tomorrow, I don't want them to be like, oh, she was such a B word. She was such this. She was such a. I want to be able to be that person that made an impact on you, not vice versa. That's why, like, all my exes, I'm friends with all of them, because you're meant to come in my life. Why should you easily get out of it because we broke up or disagreed on something? We're meant to still be in my life because we're meant to be friends. Just because we broke up doesn't mean, oh, you have to be my worst enemy. No, it's just awkward. It's stupid. Like, it's childish.
It is childish.
But like,
the wrong point.
I'm a lovable person. I can love you whether you're my ex or not my ex. Like, that's why, yes, I don't like to have enemies.
Well, yeah, and I think same with me. Like, it's important that I can try to impact people positively. And that's why I said I like you as a coach, and I'm very excited that you're getting your license, because so many more people, it's almost, and I don't want to sound mean, but it's selfish to not share that. Like, that's part of the reason why when I said, oh, I want to record you, and you're like, bleh, because I want to encourage people to not let their insecurities or whatever limitations define them. And
It's awkward.
It is.
I'm blushing because it's awkward. I'm nervous because I'm red and hot because it's awkward.
and really it's only mainly awkward because you just don't do it much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can have regular conversations for days, but being recorded is a different story.
Yeah. But what I'm hoping is, maybe literally, if one person gets anything out of our conversation besides you and I, because I got something out of it. So
I get to help somebody out.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And so I think what's weird though is, because we're people, we like to see the end product. We like to see the help, but that's not always up to us. And that's that timing thing, like you said, being friends with those people. Because then if you like them for some reasons and then you see them succeed in life, that should, if you have your priorities right, it should make you happy that they are happy.
Mhm.
And it's like, I was like that with a lot of our teen athletes and stuff like that. Is I was okay with, and with Caitlin, I said specifically to her, I said, because she went to a different gym, like all quiet, because she was worried we were going to think. And I said, I, your success, my self-esteem, first of all, is not wrapped up in your success. And also, I'm not selfish enough to say you can only be successful if I'm your coach, because that's going to limit you. If you want me to be your coach, I'll be there. Great, let's go. But if you feel like maybe I should go to 4-Star and see if I like that lifting, or maybe I should go to this gym and work out with a girl who's my age, who's amazing and beats me every time. I'm the one that said, yeah, I will drive you.
Yeah.
He was like, oh yeah, yeah. So,
You
but
want people to succeed. You're not selfish.
yeah. And I think that's, to me, that's the most important. But if I don't practice being selfless, that will happen. Or if I constantly am running the selfish thoughts through my head and then the insecurities and the limitations, then I don't go after the stuff that I really want, the stuff on the other side of my limitations. Because if I settle for the negative side of, well, what if it doesn't work? Like, yeah, what if it doesn't work? Or something that's like, I couldn't imagine dating right now, like as a like a high school kid. Like, because you'd have to like, dude, I like people, and I'm like, you just talk to me. I don't know, I don't want to swipe away. I don't want to go right or left. I just want you to talk to me, like just. But I like that connection, and I think, excuse me, if I don't work on that constantly and say, yeah, what if? Let's try. What if it works? What's on the other side of my limitations? What if I try? Yeah, what if you try? And so I've been trying, like, because for a long time I wanted to like interview people and just be like, yeah, I think this is cool, because it gets people's mindsets and the way people think about different things, and such amazingly variety of people. But I was thinking, that's gonna be really weird for a 46-year-old dude to be like, hey, can I interview you? Even though every time I ask, everybody's like, sure.
Why think about it? Just do it.
Correct. But that's
Kind of
what
like the saying of what you told me. If you're gonna think that bar is heavy, it's gonna be heavy. If put it back and restart. If you're not gonna think about it, then you're gonna squat it or lift it. A wise old man told me that. I was kidding.
it's true though. But that's one of those things, like, I was not applying a lot of that stuff to myself. And that's where the
Because you're good at giving advice instead of taking it yourself.
yes. And so now what I can tell people stuff because I'm in the process of already doing it myself. And so it's and it's even more authentic, because it's like, I'm not telling you to try to clean and then not doing it. I'm cleaning. Or I'm not telling you to try being nicer to yourself, because I'm trying to be nicer to myself. So I think it becomes a lot more acceptable from other people, because people can read people. Not everybody, and not everybody's good. Some people are pretty good at being full of crap. Like, I'm not lying. It's terrifying.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you and I know some of the same ones, and it's like, okay, like I was mistaken. Like, I thought we were something else, and this is wrong. But once again, like, the outcome is not up to me. I can control myself, and I can pretty much guarantee the outcome's going to be good if I do the prep work. Like, in May 1st, when you're doing snatches again, if you continue to do what we were doing today, I don't know what the odds are, because once again, I don't have a math degree, but I would say they're pretty high that your snatches are going to be better because you put in the work to do that. So that's basically why I wanted to interview you, because like I said, I love well, first of all, I'm appreciative that you shared more of your story, but I love that you didn't come to this point in your life on a beautiful red golden wagon. And you know what I mean? You
I
were
mean, a
like,
magic carpet because I'm Arabic. I'm just kidding.
oh, don't you dare close your eyes. Well played. At least they looked a little bit more Arabic. I still find it funny when people do the blonde hair, blue eyed Jesus thing. Like maybe, but I mean, he was this kind of, he was Middle Eastern. He had dark skin. I'm going to pretty much guess that, but okay. Um, so I don't know. I think for me, it's really important to do these because I have that need like you do to try to impact people in a positive way. And that's why I want to encourage you about doing your personal training cert, because people need that, and people need you, because you are the only person qualified to tell your story. Does that make sense? And that's what somebody said that to me when I was listening, or not to me, but I was listening to a motivational person or something like that. And they said, most people don't offer because they don't feel like, they don't feel they're valuable, like what they can offer is any value.
They don't think anybody cares.
Correct. And they're like, you are the only person that's qualified to tell your story. And I was like, oh man, that is crazy deep. Because that's true. Because I like something simple as, I always thought, well, I don't really have anything that's amazing about me. And I'm like, well, I have been sober almost 30 straight years, which is kind of good. Oh, and then I think of some of the jobs I've done and the places I've gone and the people I've met and the things I've done. I'm going, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I need to.
You're able to live to do all that.
And that's the same reason why I wanted to interview you, is because people they undervalue themselves and overvalue others. That's what we do.
100%, because what my biggest thing was, making other people happy is what made me happy. I wasn't happy with myself. So I dated, made them happy, then broke up, and then I'm where I am. Sad, depressed, whatever you want to call it. And then go back to making friends happy, and then they go away busy with their lives, and then it's just me. And then I'm like, okay, well, I got to do something about this.
Yes, yeah.
For
Because,
people, because we know how to please ourselves.
correct.
It's just like, funny story. I bought myself a bar, and $250, and I felt like shit buying it, because I could buy you a $250 gift, but I can't buy myself that gift because I felt guilty buying it for myself, but I didn't feel guilty buying it for you, because we're people pleasers.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy. We're so used to it. Like, I was numb, didn't know how to connect with my emotions. It's funny, I turned 30 and I started feeling again. And I asked my friends, and I'm like, I'm feeling everything that I've been numb to my whole life. Why? They're like, comes with age. I'm like, are you guys feeling it too? Because we all turned 30 the same year. And they're like, yeah. I was like, I don't want this. This sucks. And my best friend's a therapist. And I'm like, Sarah, what the fuck is this? And she goes, you're feeling everything you threw under the rug. And I'm like, the whole point of me throwing it under the rug so it could go away. She's like, you have to deal with it. I was like, how do you deal with something that happened 25 years ago or 16 years ago? Like, how do you deal with stuff like that? And she goes, you just have to find it in you to deal with it.
And I know it's not a direct route. That's the weird thing.
No. And I'm like, now I'm feeling everything that I've went through, and I'm like, I don't want this at all. This is freaking terrible. Like, I get heartbroken. I'm like, I'm heartbroken. But from before, I'm like, I don't give a shit. On to the next person. Like, I didn't care. On to the next girl. I dated many, and never felt any of my breakups until recently. I'm like, holy shit, my heart hurts. It sucked.
Yes.
And I didn't like it, but I was so numb to everything in my life. It just got worse and worse by time, to the point where now I'm feeling my beatings, my heartbreaks, my brother passing, my living on my own, my sleeping on my friend's couch and paying $600. Like, I'm feeling all of that now. And I hated every second of it until I had to start working out and doing something about it and actually realizing how to control my emotions and not be so hurt about stuff.
Well,
So
yeah, and that's because we don't like people will say you'll do this and it'll go away or something. And you're like, it doesn't. It's not how
yep.
things work. Or sometimes it might go away and then it comes back. And then sometimes it comes back like way worse. And you're like, I don't like that. This is dumb. And for me, I think that's like you said, I had to, I don't like the term, even though I was a therapist, I don't like the term of embrace the emotions and stuff, because no, I want to kick it in its crotch. I don't want it there. I don't, it's not like it was positive self-esteem emotions. It was, so wait, I already feel bad about myself. And I was like, let me just understand. Like I literally did that. I was like, let me understand. I already don't like myself. I'm saying that. There we go. It's out there. So you want me to get even more, talk more about the stuff I don't like about myself. How does that make any sense? Because Allison said that. So I was talking to my daughter, and she was depressed about something or upset about something. And I said, you know what, we can talk about it. She goes, well, how is that going to help? And I went, it's an amazing thing. I don't 100% know, but part of it is when you share something, you take away a lot of that power. And you also then, like with, especially with age, you get perspective. Because that's what,
Listening to yourself talk about it.
yes.
What helps you even more because you acknowledge what you're saying instead of just getting pissed about it because you're not technically saying it out loud.
Yes. Yeah, because we think our file cabinet or our brain is so amazing. And it's basically like if you walked in there, it's just waiting to go up. No, you don't know where anything is. And you're like, no, everything's out and I know where it is. Leave me alone. It's cleaning up.
It's
You
funny.
know, and but you're 100% right. Like I didn't, and my thing was, well, haven't I dealt with all this stuff? I've been dealing with this stuff. I've been a therapist and what, like I've been sober for all this time. Shouldn't I then I started shoulding, because of course that's just another way to self-ass kick, right? Like I should have known better. I should have done this. I should have been here by now. Like I'm at this age and this is where I should be. Like I'm not there. And it's
like me hating on myself for not having a degree at 31
yeah.
because I couldn't figure out what I was good at until someone introduced me to it in order for me to have a passion for it now.
And but that's that exposure. That's that you, so some people can say, yep, I met this person, or we'll stick with the Arabic theme. Family said we're getting married, and okay. Now, some people may be happy that way. Some people might be like, sweet, I don't have to make a choice. I already have somebody. Great. Well, some people might be like, I don't think so. You know, or some people might say, oh yeah, you're going to be a doctor. I'm in third grade. Like, what? I don't like blood. I know I pass out every time. No, you're going to be a doctor. You know what I mean? Like, until you, some people get just, it clicks earlier and some people click later. Like for me, I clicked at 17, but then I didn't understand how am I going to make a living out of helping people? Because I started going to school because I'm not traditional. So I started going to school to do what I had to so that I could be in the field of helping. But then every year they raised it. They like moved the carrot farther along. So I was just like, now really I need to be a doctor to be able to be a clinical psychologist. And I'm thinking there's a problem with clinical psychology because you have to believe in one way to do something, which makes no sense because I've experienced how many years and how many people getting it done a different way. So what does that tell me? It's that exposure and that experience of, yeah, I mean, I didn't graduate. How old was I? I mean, I didn't get married until I was 30. I didn't have babies until I was 33, and I knew I wanted kids my whole life. But when I graduated, I was in my 30s, like mid 30s when I graduated, right? Yeah. 2008. So I was 35, sister, 35. When
You
I graduated,
graduated in '08.
yep, with a 4-year degree. I graduated with an associate's in mental health social work, which was okay at the time in 98. And then it took 10 years to get the last 2 done. But it's kind of like, it doesn't matter because I'm not doing that specific stuff right now anyway, the way it was presented to me. Because I am alternative, the way my brain works is different. And I don't fit into traditional. You know what I mean? Like I don't do traditional. It's not my jam.
Lame
And
and
so,
boring.
sorry?
Lame and boring.
It is for me. It is mind-numbingly insane.
It's like taking knowledge and giving it to people yourself.
Yeah, and like one of the things that's why like I was thinking I'm going to go back and do motivational speaking or inspirational speaking and talk to people. How am I going to talk to them? What am I going to talk to them about? And this guy said, what's your area of expertise? The only thing you're 100% only you are qualified to speak on, you and your experiences. And I went, well, that I can do. And luckily I have a good sense of humor about it. So I can laugh at myself, because then some of the stuff, I would talk about with people, I'm sure they'd be like, how is he having this conversation and not like swallowing cyanide or something? Like, this is not like, you're just, you saying some of the stuff at a base level, some of the stuff that's happened. And you're just like, but what people I think they get a misconception is you've had to deal with some of that stuff just to be able to then say it out loud without having it destroy you internally. Like, that's how things work. It doesn't just say, yes, my brother passed away. Oh, I cried for almost 5 minutes. Boy, that was tough. I'm better now. I'm sure you get random things and think, oh, like sibling day or whatever. Like maybe on Thursdays he used to give you noogies, and so you're like, Thursdays are hard sometimes. Or you see a kid get a noogie and you're like, oh, we don't know. Do you know what I mean? And so it's one of those things that life is out to get all of us, and it will win. Nobody's making it out alive, and we are not promised tomorrow. And so it would behoove us. I never get to use that word. Behoove us
First
to
time I've ever heard it.
do the best we can with what we got when we get it, which is right now. And so, like I said, I think that's a big reason why I think you're going to make a good coach, just in general, is because yes, you're going to push people, but you're never going to. You're going to end up treating yourself nicer as a byproduct of the care you see yourself showing other people. But at first, like I think what you said is, it to me, I saw it as a weakness, how much I cared. And I saw it as a negative. Like, honestly, like, I can't believe I'm so sensitive. Man, it's stupid. I hate it. Oh my, that's terrifying, because it's not going to change because I'm still sensitive. Now I'm just even more sad because I don't like myself more. And so it was a horrible circle. And like you said, I have to almost make I do things daily to remind myself that my mental health is what affects everything else I do. So when I wake up in the morning, I have 2 readings I do. One's cool. It's like daily, like inspirational quotes, and I'll read it. It's like, never more than like 2 sentences, but it's just to start the day of, all right, what am I thinking about? What optimistic thing am I going to focus on? What can I control? Okay. And then I read my my AA thing, and then I'm like, okay. And then I put the serenity prayer right above the steps, because I'm an idiot and I need to read it 12 times a day to remember, oh, that's right, I can't control everything. I need to have courage and change things that I don't like. And then wisdom to figure out which one is know the difference. What am I doing? Can I control this? No. Am I going to change it? Well, I want to, so I better try to change it. And then I also say things that I'm grateful about, because it's hard to be negative when you're grateful, and so that's, I'm aware that you are working on that with yourself. And I think that's where I got connected and where I felt drawn to, because you weren't necessarily like beaming, going, man, I'm the bomb. I got this shit down already. Woo, woo. But you were like, well, the honest part is I'm in the middle. So this is it. Like, and I was like, hell yeah. We're always in the middle. All right. Because new stuff comes up and you're like, I thought we dealt with this. No, is this new? Okay, whatever. Just seems like it's something else, but it's still new because it's a new day. It's a new, where you can't step in the same river twice. The water moves, life moves. Like you can go do the same thing you did yesterday, no matter what. It's not going to be the same.
That's so cool that you said that. I didn't even realize it.
So
I have a guy that I met at my gym. His name is Kevin. He was a firefighter. He used to be like 300 pounds, and he ended up having cancer. And all of his sisters, almost all of them passed away from that cancer, but him. And now he's very fit and just got done with chemo. And now he's cancer free again. And anytime I see him at the gym, I'm like, what's up, Mr. Kevin? He goes, it's your life, Nina. I'm just passing by. And I'm like, isn't that the freaking truth?
it is. But
Literally.
that's what I mean.
Go ahead.
You took perspective, like you looked at that perspective and we were like, you let that impact you.
Like everybody just passes through. Some may pass through again, but different place, different time, different area, different clothes.
Yeah. And what you said about the kids, like seriously, like that's one of the things I realized. That was one of the reasons it was okay I wasn't at the gym, because I was with my family and I was with my kids. And because I sat there and I, like in April last year, I was crying because I was like, I just need to be more present. But then when I had the opportunities to be present, where was I? The gym. Because I wasn't taking care of myself. And so it's
You were more involved in helping others than your own self.
100%. And that's humbling, but that's okay to be humble, because arrogant is not a good learning place. I'm not going to learn much if I'm arrogant, because I think I know it all. So yeah, thank you for taking the time to do that with me. Are you got to go mow the lawn now?
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to mow the lawn.
I don't know yet. Mom knocked at my door. I think food is ready.
Oh,
but I do want to
ready.
share a story with you that you mentioned the other day.
Oh yeah.
Didn't. But we're not crying, so remember that.
I will not promise that, because now I will not promise I will not cry. I probably will, because I feel very close to you and I'm very grateful for you. So I'll eat a peanut to help me not cry.
You won't cry. Like you said about this might affect somebody or impact somebody in a good way, not a bad way. My brother passing was probably the hardest thing that ever happened to me, and I've been through a lot. And I guess I haven't grieved with it yet because it hasn't hit me. So I had moved out of my house, well, kicked out of my house, and lived with friends, and moved to Florida, then moved to Cali, and then moved to my own apartment here. And um, I was so focused on football and everything else that I totally forgot about my brothers and my mom. That football just took over my life Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I just kept focusing on everything for myself to distract me, so that way I didn't have to really come to what has affected me in my life. And I've always thrown everything and ignored everything because I don't want to feel. And one day we had a banquet for my football team in Birmingham or West Bloomfield or whatever. And
Ooh.
yeah, it wasn't a banquet. I'm sorry. It was a fundraiser.
Oh, that makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah, I remember it was like a bar. Everybody was just drinking just to be stupid. And I smoked hookah for the longest time. And I was like, yes, let's all go smoke hookah. Well, on our way to the hookah lounge, it was like 10 o'clock at night. I had gotten a phone call from my brother telling me that my brother was shot. And I instantly started panicking. Then I was like, what hospital is he at? And they said St. Joe's in Detroit. or Sinai Grace Detroit, sorry. And I had called my teammates and I'm like, hey, listen, I can't go. Where the fuck is this hospital at? And they're like, wow, what's going on? I was like, oh, my brother was shot. Mind you, at the time, I wasn't speaking to my mom's side of the family or my dad's side of the family. In my dad's side of the family, my dad disowned me when I was in elementary, or I'm sorry, fifth grade or sixth grade in middle school because I left living his house because my stepmom would always treat me like her slave. And he had three other daughters. Now he has four that I practically raised two of them. And I was like the Cinderella of the house. I and every time she tried to pick a fight with me because she wasn't that much older than me. She was maybe like 5 years, if that. I'd fight her back and get my ass beat for fighting her. So at that point, I got sick of it, and I moved back to my mom's house. And all of a sudden, I was going to be the whore of the world. Excuse my language. And he stopped talking to me. He just told me, he's like, I don't need you. You're dead to me. I have three other daughters, now four. I was like, okay, whatever. So I haven't talked to him since. So I go to the hospital. I'm calling my mom and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Where the fuck did he get shot at? And she's freaking out. Mom takes like, I mean, mom already had depression, anxiety already. So it was like top notch because mom has been through a lot. My dad not just beat us, he beat the living hell out of my mom. And literally she's probably the strongest person that I've ever met. And that's why I was so numb to everything because I always had to be strong for her. So speeding, I get to the hospital. Who's there? My dad and his brothers. And I hurried up and brushed down my mohawk. My dad hasn't, nobody from my side, my dad's side of the family, has saw my short hair. And I look at my uncle and I'm like, my dad walks away instantly. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? And he goes, I was like, where was he shot at? He goes, he was shot in the head. I'm freaking out at that point. Call my mom. Where the fuck are you? Because, well, he was married and I didn't want to freak his wife out because I didn't know if she knew what was going on. And she's like, I'm coming. I go, do you know where he got shot at? And she's like, no. And I said, in the head. And she instantly like started going crazy. Then my stepdad took the phone and started talking to me. And she's like, oh, I need my Xanax. I need my Xanax. She started freaking out. And I had called my other brother because I had a 25-year-old brother and I have now a 14-year-old brother. And I was like, where the fuck are you? Dad's here. My uncle Marwan's here. Whoever was like, where are you? And he's like, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. So I call my best friend and I'm telling her, and she's like lives an hour away from the place. Hurries up, turns around. I call my other best friend and she's like, she calls me and they're like freaking out because they heard it on the news. Somebody got shot from my side of the family. And uh so we're all waiting. Who shows up? More of my mom's side of the family show up. More of my dad's side of the family show up. Mind you, I don't talk to anybody. So I mean, I'm talking to my mom here and there. So one side of the hospital is, oh, I call my sister-in-law. And I didn't want to tell her he was shot in the head. And I'm like, Stephanie, where are you? And she goes, I'm waiting for your uncle to come pick me up. I'm like, why aren't you coming here? Why aren't you driving? And she goes, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, will somebody tell me? I didn't want to be the one to tell her.
Yeah.
So I called my mom and I was like, you need to call and tell her that he was shot. And she goes, okay, and just hung up. So at that point, we're all just waiting. We heard it grace his head. Well, the real story of what really happened, and here's where it comes with reputation. My dad's side of the family decided to lie about what happened to make their last name look good. They said he went to Detroit with my uncle to buy motorcycle parts, but really it was to get drugs for my uncle.
From or for?
For my uncle, because my whole dad's side of the family has Crohn's disease. I was one of them. And he needed, what's the pill called? Starts with a P. It's basically to help you numb your body, basically.
Okay.
And his medicine wasn't working, so he needed these pills. Fast forward to October 1, 2011, my brother had gotten in a major car accident on 94 in Livernois. He was on his way to the casino, and he saw some guy hit the bottom of the viaduct and facing oncoming traffic. My brother parked in front of him, got out of the car. One girl that was driving with a bunch of teens came and hit him right into my mom's door and shattered his whole pelvic bone. Yes. To help a black guy out. So, fast forward, he was going to pain management and to the chiropractor to help him out because he didn't want to get addicted to drugs or whatever. So he
Yeah.
just kept going to chiropractor. So I met this guy, and this guy's like, hey, listen, if you ever want pills, let me know. And he gave my brother his number. And my brother's like, no, I smoke weed. I don't need anything else.
Yeah.
So my brother was in Jamaica the week of May 15th and 2015. And I was dog sitting at his house, and I was getting ready. I had let the dogs out to go use the bathroom before I went to football practice. And he had looked at the cameras that he had outside of his house, and he said, let the dogs in. Mind you, he's in Jamaica on vacation.
Yeah.
And I called him a creeper, and he told me he had eyes in the sky. And that's what I got tattooed on my arm, eyes in the sky. And he ended up giving I was gone a lot because I had work and I had football practice. So he gave his friend his 300. He had a car, 300. And that night, his friend crashed his car. He literally sideswiped the whole car. So at that point, when my brother came home, they had no vehicle. So my uncle had called my brother up, Suboxone. That's what the medication was called. So my uncle had called my brother. Text messages were going back and forth. Well, when my brother was on vacation, he had texted my uncle. My uncle was like, how's your vacation going? He's like, I only spent $300. It's all good. I'm in the hospital right now. But everything's going good. And my uncle's like, in the hospital? He's like, I don't know why I said in the hospital. I meant to say hotel. That's 2 signs right there, knowing that my brother was going to pass. But you never really think about that. So he came back from vacation, and my uncle had hit him up and said, hey, I need you to find me Suboxone. And my brother's like, I know a guy. I met him at the chiropractor office. So text messages are going back and forth between this guy, and my uncle had picked my brother up from the house. They went to Joyride and Evergreen. They were supposed to meet at a liquor store that was there. And the guy's like, no, I want you to meet me at Hayden and Vaughn. And I've passed by the area several times, and the grass is really high up with no street light. My brother's like, okay, I got you. I'll meet you there. My brother's in the passenger seat at that point. My uncle hands my brother, I think it was like $350. And they drive up, and 2 guys come in the back seat. One has a gun on him. And he gives him the pills. It's Motrin. So my brother looks at my uncle, and he automatically tells him it's Motrin. So they kept fighting back and forth, kept punching each other, hitting each other. Then the guy held the gun up at his head. My brother went to go grab the gun, and they're still fighting. Somebody opened the door from the outside and shot here, and the bullet got stuck here. So at that point, my brother sees him. My uncle's like, he doesn't see anything. He doesn't know who the hell's in the car, nothing. And he is like, just take it, whatever the fuck you want, get the hell out of my car. So my uncle automatically starts driving, pulls up to an ambulance that he waved down because he didn't know where he was there or what the hell was going on at that point. And the ambulance ended up taking my brother to the hospital, which then, let's fast forward to when we were all there. And it was my mom's side of the family on one side, my dad's side of the family on the other side, and my football team in the hallway and my friends, my best friends, because I wasn't okay with any of my family members besides my mom freaking out. My dad didn't even acknowledge my existence. I mean, at a time like that, you would think you acknowledge your oldest daughter and your son. No, at that point, you're just to yourself. So my sister-in-law, they're like, okay, we're going to take him into surgery. We're going to see what we could do. And we're like, okay, they're giving her information, trying to figure out what's going on. And then an hour later, my mom, my stepdad, my dad, and my sister-in-law go in the room because the doctors called on them. And we're just all waiting. And my mom comes out looking like a zombie. And I'm like, what? So she sits down on the floor next to my aunt and whispers something. And Arabic people are very dramatic when it comes to death. And she kept hitting herself and going crazy after mom whispered something to her. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What? And they said, he's brain dead. He only had 2% activity left in his head. And I instantly started punching the window. I instantly got pissed off. I started crying. I was so pissed. And then mind you, I stayed up all night at the hospital waiting to see what was going on. They did a test, the gag reflex test, and he did it. And we were still hoping that he was, still going to come back from this. And then I had went home because my friend stayed at the hospital with like a lot of my teammates left, but like a few friends stayed there. I went home, took a shower, changed to comfortable clothing, um, then went back to the hospital, and then we ended up. So every people, you're not supposed to pull the plug unless they're 100% brain dead. It's against our religion because we're practically just killing them. And we ended up. I ended up going back. Well, I went home, and my mom goes, "Did you see the news?" And I was like, "What?" And my dad's side of the family decided to tell the news that he went to go get motorcycle parts because my brother had a motorcycle, and the guy robbed him and shot him. But that just shows you how fucking stupid people are because they care more about, oh, they went for my brother's drugs, and really lie
As-
about the truth.
Yeah, as opposed to pain management drugs, and who cares? It's not like he was asked to get shot anyway.
Exactly. So that we went back, and I'm outside with my teammates because at that point more of my teammates decided to come and my coaches came and paid their respect, and the weight room and like on the main floor was completely packed of all of his friends and all of my friends, and upstairs one weight room was packed with my dad's side of the family, then the other area was packed with my mom's side of the family, and they're like, okay, you guys have to pull the plug. Well, so we get in there, and uh interesting story, my brother's a odd numbered person, I'm an even numbered person, and everybody's just going crazy at this point. They're pulling the plug, and they said when they pronounced him dead, they pronounced him dead at 3:33. And that's when I'm like, okay. So I held it strong. I barely cried in front of my family, in front of my mom, in front of my sister-in-law. I'm just hugging them at that point, hugging my my half sisters from my dad's side, and hugging my stepmom and all this other stuff. So my best friend Farah was in the room with me, and I had gotten out and got on the elevator and just started bawling my eyes out because I couldn't cry in front of my family. I had to hold it strong for my mom, and she almost passed out. And yeah, that's when I went down and hugged my best friend and just started bawling my eyes out to her because
Yeah, and that's yeah. See, that stuff doesn't. Cause like I was talking about that car accident. You're just they're thinking it doesn't matter how many days later. You're like, this is not. No, what?
yeah, right back to where I was getting with the black person that he helped. Three black kids killed my brother. Shows you what a good heart we had, right?
Yeah. There's no rhyme. There's no reason. There's no. It's when they say senseless. Most of us can't fully you comprehend what senseless means. A lot of us don't comprehend what senseless means. We're like, well, it doesn't make sense, but there's a difference. That was senseless, and
So yeah, let's get back to the court dates. Shows you how fucked our system is. We went to court for like 2 weeks, and because there was two jurors that were black, decided to say that he wasn't guilty. So they all decided to say he wasn't guilty. So the guy got not guilty. After 2 weeks, I made best friends with every sheriff in that building. Downtown, I made best friends with all of them because I was there every single day and had conversations about football, about stupid stuff, just for me to stay busy. And he got not guilty. So you want to know what karma did? He got out of jail last year in February because he violated his probation, sorry. He violated his probation because he had a gun on him. His other cousins turned on him. The one guy that had talked to him about the pills turned on their guy and said that he did it for them to get 10 years each. Then when we did the whole juror thing, that's when he got not guilty. So then he violated his probation and stayed in jail for 3-4 years. Then last year in February, he got out. Then in August, I think it was, I'm at my friend's housewarming party with a lot of my teammates that were there. And I'm sitting there and I get a text message. I'm in a group chat with my sister-in-law that's still in my family and my mom. I get a text message saying Deontay Clark was shot and killed at his own cousin's house because his cousin had died that May. And they were at like a funeral thing. Or I'm sorry, not May, in August. He was at his house for a funeral, and his cousin had gotten her boyfriend with her. And the boyfriend started going crazy and shot 3 people. The other 2 people survived. The guy that killed my brother died. So just to show you how good karma was. So I called my mom. We're all crying because we're so happy at this point, but it's kind of sad, but I'm happy. Like, finally we can put this to rest, but really you can't because he's not here anymore.
Yeah, it's cerebrally at some point it makes you not even feel better. It's like,
but I mean, he's not there anymore.
yes.
So
But it's almost like that's not even the point. The point is I want my brother.
yeah. And the sad part is the guy that my brother got killed for, my uncle, he didn't give a shit. He lied on oath, saying that it was motorcycle parts and a bunch of other shit because he said the drugs were for my brother instead of saying they're for himself. But text messages prove that they were for him. And because he was more scared of my dad beating the shit out of him for killing his son than saying the truth. So that night he had a heart attack. I was happy. Thank God. I mean, sadly he didn't die, but he deserved to die because it was all his fault. But how do you lie? Like, I don't know.
Not everybody's working on themselves. Not everybody's trying to be a better person.
I wanted to kill him myself. What are you, crazy? I was ready for this guy to just drop dead and I would have been happy. But I couldn't. Because then at the end of the day, it would come back to me.
See, and I think surrounding yourself with such awesome people by your choice only probably made it bearable to get through that at the time. Does that make sense? Because like you said, your family was like so messed up and it's just like,
I wasn't even allowed to be in my house unless I wore a scarf because I had a mohawk.
yeah. And you're like, really, this is the important thing right now with what's going on? Yeah. And I like resentment. I could just see resentments build and like, and I think that's having gone through that, even with a close-knit, amazing, wonderful childhood, and then have something like that happen, could destroy somebody.
100%.
And having everything the way it was, even at the point of you having then to try to deal with that in that situation and deal with the situation, and that's what a lot of people, it would have broke a lot of people. And it would have continued to break them. And I'm not saying it didn't break you. I'm sure it did.
Oh, my anger got worse. I lost a job because of it. Like, my anger got 20 times worse. And I had to start working out in order for my anger to get controlled.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't want to say you woke up and said, oh, I'm broken. I'm going to go work out today, so I'm not broken. I'm not saying it was like that, but it was, sometimes it's almost like if you're in a river and you're drowning, whatever floats by, let's see, let's try. Is this going to help? But that's only if you want help. Whereas you wanted to be different. You didn't want to settle for that. So that's why.
I went and saw a therapist thinking, maybe it'll help me. And we started talking about my brother, and then she goes, here's your homework. Find out what was good that you and your brother did together and write it down. I never went back to her because I couldn't fucking figure it out. Everything in my life has always been me remembering all the negatives. Like my mom or somebody will tell me, "Oh, what was good in your childhood?" Me getting my ass beat. What was good? Me and my mom is throat getting choked by my father and me trying to hit him and him pushing me against the wall. Like, what was great in your childhood? Couldn't even tell you because I only remember all the negative stuff that happened. I don't remember all the good stuff that happened. So I never went back to her. She gave me homework to do and it pissed me off because I couldn't remember. She goes, "Well, try, look at pictures. Pictures are not going to help me do anything."
I mean, I can understand why she asked that. It's basic, but at that time, to me, you weren't necessarily struggling with,
Trying to remember the good.
yeah. You know, like, I mean, I can understand, but I don't think that's not where you were at that moment, you know, and like, I think the situation is so horrible. I mean, it's no nice way to say it's just freaking horrible. It is so horrible. And then all the stuff surrounding the situation is horrible. And then getting getting to deal with past issues at the moment you find out your brother is possibly dying is beyond immensely horrible. Like, you're like, I don't know, how much horrible can we pile on? Like, shit, how many H's do we got? Let's go.
It's like
And
I always told my best friend this every time we talk, and I'm like, why me? Why is it every single fucking time I have to go through something? It's never like a let me give you a break kind of thing. It's constantly one thing after another. Always, every year. And I would be like, why? What the fuck did I do to deserve any of this? What, God's testing me to be stronger? Well, hello, I'm still here. You can stop now. Like,
yeah, you're like, listen, I rang that bell several times. Like, we're good.
seriously, like what? I'm a good person. Yes, I may be. I mean, I could try to be the best person in the world, but I'd be lying to everybody if I was trying to do that. And not just that, like, what did I ever do in my life to deserve the life that I've lived? I'm 31 and still going through shit. I don't get it.
But now, I think now you have a much better perspective. Once again, back to perspective of,
Because I'm older.
but because you didn't give up.
I hadn't. I didn't have no choice, but I couldn't give up.
You refused to give up. And once you look, the fact that you actually caught yourself makes me happy. But once you I think you're going to, that's where your immense growth is going to come, when you fully understand and embrace that it was choice after choice after choice after choice of, I'm not going to let this break me. Now, there's a difference, because being broken, like having something break you and then staying broken, that's what it is. Like, you chose not to stay broken.
That's a
Life,
somehow.
yeah, life is a mofo, and it is not fair. And I come from the other way. If I would have gotten what I deserved, my heart would not have started again. I would have been arrested. I would have been shot when somebody pulled a gun on me. I would have been killed when I walked around with a gun with no clip in it, because I didn't want to shoot anybody. I didn't want to hurt anybody, but I just didn't want people to beat me up. Like, I say it out loud because I'm like, oh, that's terrifying. Like, no, but look, it's a gun from the 1940s. It doesn't even have a clip. Like, then why you care? Like, don't be an idiot, you know? But that that ability to not stay broken is why I wanted to record this, and why I want you to share that, and why I want you to, even if you don't necessarily have that conversation by itself with someone that you're training, that makes up such an amazing, dedicated, grit, determined. You have so many reasons, excuses, but reasons to not be positive, to not be optimistic, to not be nice, to not be caring, to not be sensitive. And yet, here we are. And that is a testament to you, not a testament to your dad, not a testament to your mom, not a testament to your culture, not a testament to anything else but you. And I don't even pretend to know why things happen to people and why some things don't. Why people, like, look at coronavirus. Talk about super random. Like, some kids pass, some people my age died. Some people with no health, but they were like 26-year-old healthcare worker in England died. Like, she had no, like, with 2 little kids, and like apparently she was a good mom. Like, it would be nice if there was some reason with life, and sometimes there's not. But it's not with what we're given, it's what we do with what we're given. And one of the things that, like, look at all the things, we don't have to look. I acknowledge all the things that you do in spite of the hand you were dealt. So to me, I don't look at, I know at some points you're probably like, okay, yeah, enough is enough. I'm tapping out. Like, let somebody else be strong for a while. Like, we're good. Like, I'm okay for a breather. And as opposed to really embracing that and understanding, you don't have necessarily a lot of reasons why you should be caring, why you should be a great hugger, why you should be forgiving of people, why you should be sensitive, why you should be, do you understand what I'm saying? And yet, these are the things you aspire to do. You aspire to impact people positively. When, kind of paraphrasing what you said, mainly because so many people negatively impacted you. So you went the exact other way, which,
Well, I was the most negative person ever until somebody told me I needed to be positive.
and that's why we're doing this, because somebody might hear that and be like, wait, I have a choice? Like, wait, even though the world is really trying to kill me, which it eventually will, it's trying to beat the shit out of me on the way to death too. Like,
Look at the positive in this. What?
yeah. And so instead of the positive getting handed to you, you had to create the positive. And so, not being done with school, really?
Shit, I couldn't figure out. I wasn't gonna waste my time going to college for nothing. So I figure out what I'd want to do with my life.
And now you're like,
Now I
yeah,
know.
I'm pretty good. So let's do. And so it's kind of like, would it have been nice if things were easy? Yes. Would you be the same person? No. And I'm 100% aware. Now, what I struggled with for a long time, and I'm not saying you have to get to this point, but what I struggled with for a long time was, a lot of people would say, I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic. I'd be like, okay, you're grateful that recovering. I was like, okay, I can get that. I can understand that. And they were like, no, I'm grateful that I'm an alcoholic. And I was like, whoa, we're gonna have a talk, because I've been sober years. And I was like, no, I wish I was normal. And so I kind of had a talk. I was like, I wish I was normal. I wish I didn't have to sit there and overthink things and then tell on myself if I lied. I just wish I could push stuff under the carpet and ignore and not do that. And then they're like, you have all that ability. I went, no, because if I do that, I'm going to end up, lying to people. When I lie to people, I feel guilty and this and that. And then I end up using, because that's how I relapsed, and rah, rah. And they're like, So then that's still your choice. And I was like, understand what I mean? And they're like, it's still they're your choices. It's now what you do. You can, so are you an alcoholic or not? And I said, yes. So they're like, so you can be a pissy, moany little shit about it, or you can be grateful about it. You're still going to be an alcoholic. And I was like, well, that's true. And I was like, darn it for making sense. And guess what? Like grateful alcoholics don't relapse. Grateful people aren't jealous of other people's anything. And people who've had to work hard for their own are just happy and proud that when they get something, and then they are grateful and they're happy when other people get something. And I wish I had a really great answer for why, things happen, but like I said, I am grateful that you shared with me. I'm grateful that you took your time and you.
I don't know why I apologized with you a while ago, but
once again,
it wasn't meant to happen.
It was not meant to happen. And, I don't think I would like to believe that I would be available. And when you were to talk, I pretty positive I would have been like able to be there for you, because I was never fully gone. That's why when you came into the gym, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to relate with her. I like her. Yep. We're going to get close. But I wouldn't have been able to be here for you. I wouldn't have been able to. I just wasn't at the same place. It just wasn't time. I wasn't available. And so that's why.
Even that, I probably wouldn't have shared either way. I don't just go, oh my God, what's the workout today? Let me talk to you about my dead brother.
No, I don't remember that happening. I don't remember that coming up. But that's what I'm saying. I think this opportunity, and that's kind of what I try to look at stuff. And because that's when I don't want to say take control, but that's when I am controlling what I can control, is when I look at it and say, okay, this is where we are. Now what? In a good way. Or what if I don't let this break me? What if I use this to, yes, does it suck that it took that happening for your mom to realize there's more important shit than my last name? That, yes. But did it get there? For you, it did. And so guess what? No matter what, that's when you tell people, you're like, there's way more important things or way worse things that can happen to you in your life that you probably wouldn't even possibly imagine that you can not only live through, that would make anything you're going through now seem like a wonderful freaking day. So let's get perspective. And that's one of the things that you have that nobody else can offer, your perspective. Like if I was doing a speaking engagement, I would not want to go after you, because people would hear that and then I'd go, yeah, my parents are still married and they grew up and I was like, never had to struggle for clothes or anything. And I was like suicidal. And they're going to be like, did you even listen to her? You're like, yeah, that's why I have people around me like that, because it's perspective. It's reminding myself.
There's bigger things out there than your own alcoholic problems.
Yep. And there's bigger things than right now. One of my favorite sayings in AA that I used to absolutely hate was, this too shall pass. Mm-hmm. And then I really sucked, because then I finally was like, yeah, it will. The bad stuff will get over. And they went, yeah, but so will the good. And I was like, well, crap.
It's like a roller coaster. It goes shitty, good, worse, good.
But it really is, now that you're older, it's much more like this, and we determine what we're like with that, because you're not reliant on having your dad hit you because you're disagreeing with your stepmom. You know what I mean? You're not reliant on, you understand, listen, my opinion of me matters more than what your opinion of me matters more. You know what I mean? So it's like that. You wouldn't be so diehard of a good friend if you didn't realize what it's like to be disowned. I mean, there's no nice way to say it. I mean, that's, and I don't,
Oh,
you use that term, but that's what it is. You were literally disowned, and you understand it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable for friends. It's really unacceptable as family. So, and I know how that feels. I'm never going to make somebody feel that way. And I think that's why when you're like, well, I mean, I'll do it. I don't know what I'm going to, that's why I didn't have, this is just from a conversation. It's not from, I have this agenda and this and that. And I was like, before we got on, I just said, I hope she uses it to help her, whatever that's like, which is weird because that's a very uncontrolling, who knows what's going to happen if we just talk about, I thought maybe you were going to just talk about football. And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Because a girl playing football with other girls, it's awesome. Because I met you guys and I liked you guys. So if you would have just talked about that, I would have been happy. Like, the outcome is not important. I'm available for whatever the outcome is. That's the same with you. Like, you made yourself available to be coached today for whatever that outcome is. But if you continue to make yourself available, better and better and better is presented, if that makes sense. And so I think that's why I'm utilizing this time with Corona and stuff like that to reach out to people, because when stuff gets back to normal, first of all, it should never go back to normal. If you haven't grown as a person through this,
you've wasted your time.
You've wasted time. And there's nobody to blame. Like, people say, oh, I didn't have time. Really? Like, were you in Big Brother? Like, what were you doing? You have time. The entire world shut down. Like, you got time. And so that's one of the things, like, you're taking advantage, making the most of what you get when you get it. And so the fact that I said, hey, let's do this interview, and you I love the fact you called me immediately and said, what are we going to talk about? Because
I can be prepared.
I know, but conversations sometimes
just go and happen.
Yeah, and happen. And that's why, like, sometimes I'm like, yeah, some conversations are 40 minutes, some are an hour and 49. So and it's funny because my phone's or my computer's gonna die because I keep not having it plugged in but just the fact that you took your time and your honesty, and even though I know you, like, several times, like, you can tell you're like, oh.
Yeah, look how red my cheeks are.
I know, I think it's cute, but what do I know? It's fine. I value more than you can, well, not more than you can know, because I think you pretty much know I value you, but I am very grateful. So now I'm going to get there.
No, you can't.
I don't have a choice. Like, you chose to not only share, which I know you're not super excited about, then you cried, which you're not super excited about.
Which I probably hate you for later. 100%.
Yeah,
I'll blame you for it.
That's so fair. But also that you did it while being recorded, while just sitting there.
By the way, I could see it saying recording.
Well, I knew you could, but you told me not to tell you, and I'm like, okay, I think she's an idiot because it's gonna say.
And I'm like, oh shit.
It's gonna say recording, but whatever. I didn't tell you. But to me, that you sharing that with me is going to make me such a better person in so many ways that you don't even realize. Like, I'm going to go be a better dad to my daughter and my son, because there's people who are so not appreciative of what they have, that you would have been happy with apathy, let alone a hug and a kiss and to be proud of you, so damn right I'm going to go over there and make sure that I don't yell at her, and make sure that if she wants to jump on the trampoline, I'm going to make fucking time to jump on the goddamn trampoline, because I'm not guaranteed.
You're lucky enough to have that.
I am very blessed to have that. And I think, yeah, this hurts and it sucks, and I don't like being so vulnerable sometimes, but that's 100% me. That's authentic me. When we're vulnerable in this, my batteries are running low, I'm just letting you know, but when we're vulnerable like this.
Well, you better hurry up and finish the conversation, because if not, it's going to.
I know. So anyway, that's why I appreciate you, because I'm going to utilize that to be a better dad, to be a better husband, to be a better coach, to be a better me, and I know a little bit will help you just release that valve, even if it's just release that valve and be like, okay, I told my story. Because I think you relating to people, I think if I go do speaking engagements, I would want you there, because I can't be a gay woman who's Arabic, whose parents disowned her, I can't do any of those things and still be a positive, helpful, loving person. That's not my journey. My journey is amazing to me and like impactful, but your journey is as impactful and so many more different levels. I won't say more, but different levels.
Yeah, you would think people would look at me and see how I am. They're like, oh, she hasn't gone through anything. Little would they know.
But when you do that, what that does is that empowers you, because even though the feelings, sometimes they feel like I could die from this. The first time I started feeling so deeply, I remember thinking, can feelings kill me? Like, I asked somebody, like, I feel like if I share this, I'm going to die. Mm-hmm. And everybody has the exact same feeling. Like, if I really go into this feeling, I'm going to die. I've never seen it happen, but you don't know. And so, and I don't know if that's your journey. I don't know if that's something you want to do, but I know that would, just having this availability and having you share that, it's going to, anytime you share that, when it's on your terms, it's going to be healthier for you, and it's going to be able to help somebody else. And then every time
that's why I did it.
I know. And that's what I mean. So I think I would strongly encourage you might want to think about possibly doing speaking with me. And not necessarily today, because we can't go anywhere, but we can shout out at people's windows.
I would, but I'm not going to promise I'm not going to be red, nervous, and sweaty.
But that's, again, like, you're human. I think the humanness is what people need. Humanness is what people are craving right now. They think they're craving the physical touch and no, it's that honest connection, the authentic connection, which one of the reasons why I like you, which is sometimes why when you start getting a little sassy and like, oh, and rah, rah, and I'm like, and I'll just kind of let you vent for a second, and then we'll go about our business and be nice again, because focusing on that stuff is not going to make you happy anyway. But it's important to sometimes let it out, because then otherwise it's not because like you're very much like me. We don't do well and can't really afford to be who we want to be. We can't afford to let that stuff just play around. We can't, because you've been surrounded by negativity, not by your own choice, and I, by my own choice, or by the way my brain is, just by nature, just comes naturally that, like, we can't afford to do it. Some people can afford to do it. It's like some people can afford to smoke pot once in a while and then they don't rob people. Some people can, even do whatever, some even hard drugs sometimes in college, and be like, whoa, okay, well, that was college, and be fine. That's not my journey. So it's like, I just can't afford to do that. So some people can afford to be, even though they're buttholes, but they can afford to be, jealous and this and that. But once again, are those people we want to be around anyway? No, because they're truly not happy.
Helping them.
Yeah.
So
thank you for taking your time to do this with me. I really do appreciate it.
Anytime.
And I'm going to go.
Never again, but anytime.
Huh?
So never again, but anytime.
I was going to say, yeah, that's funny you said that. So, all right, well, you go have a good day. I'm going to have a good day. I'm going to go do dinner. You go eat.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.